This is a very small tin. It's got 12 different colours, and we've just got an A6, just regular watercolour pad. We're just going to have a play today using some colours that we would normally use together just to have a play. I'm going to use a combination of burnt sienna and ultramarine for today. So just a quick little warm up. We're not going to overthink this. I've got quite a bit of water on my brush, and I'm just making shapes, but making sure there's enough movement on the page. And now I'm just going to drop in some extra pieces of, not pieces, strong parts of the colour. And because this is a granulating pigment, you can see that it kind of finds its way into the holes of the paper quite easily. And this colour, it's a really nice colour to work with. Like, it's definitely, you can see why it's a favourite for so many people. So because that paper is still wet, I'm just going to go straight in and see if I can pick up some of that burnt sienna, because it's a good colour combination. It's got a bit of a red tinge to it, and in some ways it's also a little bit granulating when it's next to, not as much, but there's definitely something there. And because of the texture of the paper, it definitely lends itself to falling into the divots of the paper. It's just a quick exercise to show you just how easily and quickly you can have some creative time. And we're only using 2 colours. And already, because that paper is quite wet there, those colours are bleeding really well into each other. Same with across here. It's a nice little combination of these 2 colours. You can see just the texture of the paper. It's extremely textured just here, which is really, really nice. But yeah, that literally, it only took 2 minutes. So that's the nice thing too. You can have a very easy and quick session that literally takes 2 or 3 minutes. So this is for abstracts in particular. We go on and do some faces together. So I've already recorded this one. This one will be uploaded later on the channel. But we're going to just spend some time doing a face, and hopefully it's only going to take us a couple of minutes. We just want to make sure that we want to just try not to be too pedantic about it. Now, I know I have been painting and drawing for a long time, so, you know, sometimes I've got a little bit of a formula, but what I'm like trying to encourage people to do is just draw without the fear of making it look bad. Because you're going to have a lot of pictures in your sketchbook that you're just not going to like, but that is part of having a sketchbook practice. You're going to have a lot of experiments, but you're also going to have a lot of wins as well. Again, this didn't take a huge amount of time. Are the proportions right? No, they're not. Thank you, thank you. I do love the abstract painting much more than anything else. It's something that's very easy for me to do, and it's just a good quick warm-up to do as well. Okay, so again, this took, you know, I don't know, are you timing me? 1.5 minutes or something like that? Okay, is it right? Probably not 100% right, no. Does it matter? No. I think a lot of the sketchbooks and a lot of the fear around creating is making sure that it's perfect. But the old adage, practice makes perfect. And practice also shows what you are doing wrong as well. Like, that's okay. We got the kneadable eraser as well. And I'm going over, just because I don't normally go over it, but because this particular black ring pencil. It's a matte and it's quite heavy and soft, and it tends to leave junk all over my page, which kind of mixes with the watercolor that I don't love. Again, you can see that I have not finished it. That's okay. We got a little tiny palette. I'm going to get a big brush because I made that mistake with this one here. I used a tiny brush for the face and it took me forever. So I'm going to go out on a limb and see what I can do. So I've got the permanent rose in there. I'm going to mix in some Windsor yellow. So it's going to make it quite an orangey peachy colour, which is fine. Normally, if I had my studio palette, not my tiny one, I would use yellow ochre because it's a bit warmer. And I've just put in a teeny tiny bit of ultramarine. So you can see it's kind of muted that down quite a bit. I'm going to put my brush in some more water and I'm just going to go one pass over the face. Well, that's so much quicker than what I was doing before, honestly. There we go. And that's my first layer. Is it too dark? Probably. Will it dry lighter? Yes, it's watercolor. It'll dry lighter. I just rinsed off my brush and I am going to lift out some of the pigment from the eyeballs. And I'm going to lift out, so every time I do that, I'm just like, probably should put it there so you can see it better. Okay. It's a damp brush. And I'm just lifting out the pigment just to create some of the highlights. I think it'll come from there, the light. It's going to fall on that cheek. And it'll fall a little bit on this side as well. Also this side of the neck. Okay, now the brush is drying out, so it's not lifting very well. So I'll dampen the brush again, wipe off the excess and go over. You can see how easily, if you've got 100% cotton paper, makes your life a lot easier when it comes to taking things up like that. So that's it there. And that's our first layer of the face. It only took a couple of minutes. We've drawn the face as well. Like I said, is it in proportion? Probably not. And we'll do the hair after. And like I mentioned before, I am a massive fan of big hair. So I will do big hair similar to these girls. I've been going in a curly hair phase. My hair is quite curly anyway, so that's what I'm channeling. I wear big earrings. That's what I draw. So we're doing a very similar look here. And I'm picking up some more of that pigment just there. I probably should put it here so you can see everything. There we go. And I'm just going to make some harsh lines, okay, shadows on the face and on the neck. Where's it going to come? Now, there's a lot of technical, like you look up on YouTube, there are so many brilliant artists that, you know, really go through everything about how to paint a face, what to look for. I really like them, but at the same time, there's nothing better than just playing. Number one, it's very relaxing for you as well, just to play. So I'll try and focus on the face so that it doesn't always get me. I like the brushiness of this, so I'm going to try and keep that. I will put in a little bit of a suggestion of the mouth and lips. And I'm thinking too about the light. Where is it coming from? Okay, it is coming from this side, so it's always going to be a little bit more pronounced on, say, this side of the face. But I do like kind of the brushy feel that you can get. Okay. So again, I'm going in with some permanent rose. And again, you don't need many colours. And this is the Windsor yellow. So it's quite orangey, so more permanent rose. And now some ultramarine blue. So those are your primary colours. And I'm going to put a bit more ultramarine blue. See how it's kind of turned a browny colour? And this is going to be kind of my shadows. Okay, again with the big brush, and I'm going to go again with shadows. So the eyes, okay, parts of the face, definitely the nose area, that's going to fall into shadow. Eyelids, I'm a big fan of dark eyes, a little bit in there, definitely under the neck here. So you can see my strokes are quite brushy, they're not particularly precise. And I just rinsed off my brush, and I'm going to blend out some areas and make it a little bit softer, so it's less of that brushy style, especially around the part of the face that has the light hitting it. Now I'm going to go over that background, so I'm not too worried that it's not 100% at the moment. Getting some more of that colour and just dropping in a little bit more shadow when it comes to the mouth and the bottom of the nose. Adding some shape in there. It's fun. I love painting faces. I know a lot of my friends say, oh, I think that the faces are able to tell your mood, whether you're in a good mood or not. I can't see it personally. Some of them say that it looks like me. Yeah, I really don't think they do. But I think it's kind of a fun way to experiment, especially they're so different from my landscapes, which in Australia at least, I'm probably more known for my landscapes because that's, you know, what I sell at the markets and at the art fairs and stuff like that. But this is my fun project. This is the fun way. This is how I experiment and play and don't get too worried whether things look good or not. Okay, so I'm going to leave that there. I'm going to swap to a smaller brush. So this is a size 0. It's a sable brush again. And I am going to go in, and I didn't rinse that off from last time, so you can see that's added a little bit of extra colour. I'm going to colour in the irises with this darker colour. I'm going to try and keep some of that white highlight on the eye. See if that works. She looks quite sad there, doesn't she? I didn't intend for her to feel sad. And now I'm going to go in with some perylene green. I'm going to grab some of that pigment and I'm going to make some dark pupils, see if that renders itself well. It's coming together. So it kind of makes it look like she's got a bit of a hazel eyes. Are the lashes fake? Yes. Do I mind? No. I'm going to put some darkness in the nostrils, a little bit underneath. That's probably too much. I'll rinse off my brush, wipe off the excess, and then take away what went rogue. That's okay. I'm going to grab a little bit more and define the corners of the mouth, where the mouth meet. And now I'll pop in the eyebrows as well. I did them before, but I didn't like them, so I kind of got rid of them. But now I'll pop them in, and I might just use the burnt sienna. It didn't take long at all. Yeah, those eyebrows, they are big eyebrows. That's all right. So I am going to, with the small brush, I'm going to swap the small brushes. So this one is my good small brush. When I say good, I still have the point on this one. So you can probably see if it's going to focus. The point is still quite good on this particular brush. Is it going to focus? You're having trouble. There we go. Whereas my other small brush, which is what I used before I got the orange one, this one doesn't have the same point. I have ground this brush almost to death, to the point where even in water it doesn't really come to the same kind of point. But this is still my go-to when it comes to kind of smudging paint on the paper. So I'm getting some permanent rose, and I'm just going to give her some rosy cheeks, rinsing off my brush, wiping off the excess, and then smoothing out the edges so that it blends a little bit more. It just gives her a little bit more life in her face. Big brush again. So I'm going to go for her hair again. I kind of like this shadow veil thing. So I'm kind of thinking, should I go hair or should I go some kind of fabric? What do you think? Tell me, what do I need to do? Because the hair would be something like that, but the fabric, this is kind of part of the play. Can I make this? I don't know, I'm kind of freestyling here, so I don't know if this is going to be a good idea or not. I don't know. She's kind of got a very earthy feel about her, so I want to, no, I'm going to go regular hair. We're not going with the fabric idea. And that's, I mean, I do know there are artists that are very well planned. I'm not one of them. I don't plan very well at all. So this is the leftovers from her face, basically. So I want to use this kind of as a base, and we've already gone the Perylene green. No, scrap that. We're not going to use that as a base. I'm going to go something a little bit different if I can. I'm going to mix up a purple. Now, because we've used the permanent rose already, I'm going to use that as part of my base. Now, when we use the same colors, so even though I've used permanent rose mixed with the face, if I use a different red now, it's not going to feel harmonious because I've introduced a different color, whereas this is permanent rose. I've already used it in the face as part of mixing, and I've already used the ultramarine a little bit in the face. So she's going to have purple hair, and I'm using permanent rose and ultramarine blue to make it, but it's still a little bit too, what's the word, poppy for me. So I'm definitely going to put more ultramarine in, and I'm also going to add in a little bit of indigo because that is my favorite color in the whole world, and that will lend itself to making the curls a little bit later. So very watery mix, and I'm being very artsy with this. Is it going to work? I don't even know. It reminds me a lot of the period dramas where they render like Marie Antoinette with the wigs. They're just massive wigs. This is kind of what I always think about. All right. I haven't dipped my brush into water again, and I haven't dipped it into the color again yet. So I'm just trying to get some texture, and because the brush is starting to get dry, it's starting to separate its bristles, and so there's some cool textures coming out. That's fun. And this is part of the play. Now let's go back in. Let's pick up some more paint, and we're going to, oh, you can see, I don't know if you can pick that up on the camera. See how some of the pigments are separating from each other? That's very cool. I want to kind of keep that, and I'm just going to drop in some colors, and I'm just going to let the watercolor do its thing as well. I'm trying not to control, because that first layer is still damp from that first initial. See how that's all blending in? So that color, because the paper is already damp, it's going, it's finding its path, which is that damp. I'm not going to dip my brush into water again. Now the reason I'm going so low is because I didn't like her eyebrows. Artistic license. So again, still using the paint and the water that was on the brush initially from that second layer. Am I going about this the wrong way? Sometimes I get people saying you're not doing it right, but I think that's part of experimenting as well. So I just dipped it in my mix, and I also dipped it in the indigo. So I'm going to get quite a darker pigment. And I'm being selective with where I'm putting the brush marks, and it's kind of like a U shape for that curl. But I still want to see some of those cool patterns come out from underneath. Like 80s hair. Just a bit of fun. I like that. I've been liking these curly haired girls lately. Okay, so because again we've put that darker layer when it comes to her hair, it's really washed out her face quite a lot. So I'm going to go over her face with the same colors. Now, because I pretty much use the same colors all the time, I'm going to get the permanent rose. So this is all about like using the tools that you have. You don't need a lot of tools. I've got 12 colors in, this palette that fits in the size of my hand. Okay, a little bit of purple and a lot of yellow. It's got that brown shadow color, and I'm just going to drop in some more shadows just so it evens out that feeling with her hair, because at the moment her hair is kind of taken over her face in that there's hardly any definition in her face. So I'm just trying to darken those areas so that the eye knows that they're in the same lighting conditions pretty much. And one thing that we need to darken up specifically is her eyes. So I'm going to see, this pen hasn't been working. Yeah, I think I've run out. That one goes in the bin. So I've got a graphic. Again, this is too big for the painting. It's a very small painting, but I don't have anything else on me at the moment, and that's okay. So I'm just going to darken the pupil, and just by doing that you can see it's quite a big difference. I'm only doing the pupil and the nostrils, just darkening those up, and the tips and the corners of her mouth, which I ruined the last one doing that. I might just go over the lid, just have that definition there. Makes a big difference. Purple. What colors are opposite to purple on the color wheel? It's usually yellow. My yellow is quite corrupted. You can see that I haven't been very careful. Same dagger brush, it's just a smaller size to my regular dagger brush. This is the #1 brush. You only need 2 brushes, honestly. Let's go with the yellow. Let's put that over the top. Nice. That works because yellow and purple are opposite each other, and I'm going to warm it up with some red. I love that brushiness of it. That's feels like I'm painting with acrylics, but I'm not. I'm painting with watercolor, and that's the beauty of water control, is that you can get those brushy marks. I've just rinsed off my brush, and I'm just going to blend out this section that I had earlier. Now you can see that we've lost a lot of definition in the hair here. So what I'm going to do is I am going to go back to the color that I mixed up, and you can see that it's starting to dry out. It's starting to get a bit dark, and I'm just going to put in, because that layer is dry, we're getting some like shapes that are sharp. It's because that layer underneath is dry. Get some of the dark indigo and then pop that in again. Remember, your darks, make your darks dark and your lights light. That is It's flicky and it's not particularly accurate, but that's okay. I've had fun doing it. What do you think? Okay, now something that I need to add because I always do. The gold for earrings. I am a massive fan of big earrings. I pretty much wear the same earrings every single day. But big earrings for me make an outfit. I always do the earrings the same way. So I'm just activating the gold. There's a lot on my brush and just... Oops, that didn't quite match up. That's okay. And I think she's done for now. Like, it was fun. I actually had a lot of fun doing that. I really like that. So that's what we did before. And we've had a couple of others also that we have done. This one, she's still my favorite. Like, look at her, isn't she beautiful? That one and that one. But yeah, this is what you can do just with playing around and not worrying too much about how things turn out. So that is this particular one for this Sunday. So have fun, just go have a play, and you don't need every material under the sun. I just used a couple of brushes and a very tiny watercolor palette. So I'm just going to clean that because it's such a small mixing area, it doesn't always make sense to me to leave it that I can pick it up again next time, because I usually use different colors by the time I come around the next time around. See, that's what happens. Always sticking my fingers in paint. All right, thank you everyone, and we'll see you next time. Bye.